You don't see it coming until your planet is being vaporized.
Hello guys, welcome to this episode of our podcast. Today we're not just looking at the stars, we're staring into the abyss.
That's a good way to put it.
We're talking about a concept that sits at this really uncomfortable intersection of astrophysics, game theory, and frankly, absolute existential terror.
It's a solution to the Fermi Paradox that transforms the universe from a playground of exploration into something much, much darker.
It's a complete paradigm shift, isn't it?
Absolutely. We're all used to the Carl Sagan version of the cosmos. It's optimistic, it's filled with wonder.
Right, to billions and billions of possibilities.
Exactly. But the material we're covering in this deep dive suggests that the great silence, the fact we don't share anyone, that isn't an accident.
And it's not because we're alone.
No, it's a survival strategy.
Okay, before we get into all the nightmare fuel, let's just set the scene with the raw numbers.
Yeah, because they are staggering.
They really are. The observable universe is roughly 93 billion light years wide.
I mean, just try to picture that.
You can't. And inside that, there are an estimated 2 trillion galaxies.
And if we zoom all the way in just to our own backyard, the Milky Way.
Current data suggests there could be 40 billion Earth-sized planets. Yeah, just in the habitable zones of their stars.
It's a number so large, it almost creates a statistical imperative, doesn't it?
Yeah, it has to. Which brings us to the Copernican principle. The idea that Earth isn't special.
Right. It's not the center of the universe physically, and so it's probably not unique biologically either.
And given the age of the universe, about 13.8 billion years.
And Earth is only 4.5 billion years old.
There should be civilizations out there that are millions, maybe even billions of years older than us.
Which leads to the big, obvious problem, the paradox.
Where is everybody? The galaxy should be noisy. It should be humming with the electromagnetic chatter of commerce, communication, expansion.
It should look like Times Square on
But
a
we look
Saturday
out,
night. Yeah.
and we just get static. Nothing.
This is the core of the Fermi Paradox, and people usually explain it away with great filters. You know, maybe life is rare, maybe intelligence is an evolutionary dead end.
Or maybe civilizations just inevitably blow themselves up.
Right. But the theory we're investigating today, the dark forest theory, it flips that logic completely.
It says the silence isn't emptiness, it's stealth.
It's the silence of a crime scene where the suspects are all still in the room, holding their breath.
That's a chilling way to think about astronomy.
It is. I want you to think about that audio NASA released of the black hole in the Perseus cluster.
Oh, I heard that. The spectral scream, they called it.
That's the one. They took these pressure waves from the gas and, transposed them up 57 octaves so we could hear it.
Yeah. And it wasn't some cool sci-fi beep. It was this low moaning drone. It was genuinely unsettling.
Exactly. And if you look at the universe through the lens of the dark forest, that background radiation we hear, it feels less like a natural phenomenon and more like a hostile, heavy silence.
The sound of a forest where everyone is terrified to make a noise.
That's the vibe. This is an investigation into a cosmic cold case.
So let's unpack this dark forest concept. It comes from the sci-fi author Lou Sixon, but our sources treat it as something more. They call it cosmic sociology.
Right. Because it's a theoretical framework. It's trying to apply sociological principles to how super civilizations would interact. And to get it, you have to really buy into this central metaphor.
The universe is a dark forest at night.
Exactly. And in this forest, every single civilization
But not
is a
a loud
hunter.
one.
No, not at all. They're armed, but they're treading so softly. They're pushing branches aside, trying not to make a sound.
Because everywhere else in the forest, there are other stealthy hunters doing the same thing.
And here's where it gets really cold. The metaphor says that if a hunter finds any other life, doesn't matter if it's another hunter, a demon, an angel, a baby, an old man.
There's only one thing they can do.
They shoot. They eliminate it instantly.
That sounds barbaric. It sounds like pure paranoia.
It does. But the theory argues it's the only rational move. And this behavior isn't driven by malice or hatred. It's driven by two immutable axioms.
Like the laws of physics, but for civilization.
Precisely. So what's the first axiom?
Axiom 1. Survival is the primary need of civilization.
Okay. That one's easy enough to accept.
Yeah, if you don't survive, you're out of the game. You can't have art or philosophy if you're extinct.
Existence is binary. You're either here or you're not. Morals are secondary to just continuing.
But it's the second axiom that's the real clincher, I think.
Which is, civilization continuously grows and expands, but the total matter in the universe remains constant.
The Malthusian trap on a cosmic scale.
Exactly. Life is exponential. It always expands to fill its container. But the galaxy is finite. It's a zero-sum game. Eventually, you're going to need your neighbor's resources.
So you have a universe full of armed survivors, all eyeing the same finite pie. But, I mean, why not talk? Why is diplomacy off the table? Why not just say, hey, we're cool, let's trade?
And that is the absolute core of the problem. That's where we get into something called the chain of suspicion.
Or the epistemological abyss.
Yeah. Which is just a very academic way of saying that the distances are too vast. Light speed is
Painfully
too slow.
slow.
If you send a message to a star 100 light years away saying we come in peace, it takes a century to get there.
And their reply takes another century to get back. You're looking at a 200-year communication gap.
And so much can change in 200 years. The government that sent the message might not even exist anymore.
But it goes deeper, right? It's a recursive loop of mistrust.
It is. Okay, so you detect a neighbor. You don't know if they're benevolent or malicious. That's
Right.
level 1. But even if you assume they're nice, you don't know if they think you're nice.
And even if you're sure they think you're nice, you can't be sure that they know that you know that they're nice.
It's an infinite regression. You're staring into an abyss where you just cannot verify their intent. Trust is mathematically impossible.
And when the cost of being wrong is the extinction of your entire species, you can't take that
You
chance.
just can't.
There's another variable here that makes it even worse. The technological explosion.
Yes. The accelerator. This is what makes even a weak neighbor.
Explain
a threat.
that.
Well, look at us. For tens of thousands of years, human technology was basically flat. Stone tools, maybe some metalworking.
And then in the last 200 years, a cosmic blink. We went from steam engines to splitting the atom to AI.
A technological explosion. So if an advanced civilization spots a primitive one, like us, who just figured out radio, they might think we're harmless.
A delicate infant, as the source material calls it.
But if you leave that infant alone for a few thousand years, a cosmic second,
It could become a god. It could surpass you.
and now it's an existential threat. So you can't leave it alive. If you tried to contain it, say blockade its star system, it will remember that aggression. And when it finally gets powerful enough, it will come for you.
So the logic forces your hand. It's not about hate. It's just risk management.
It's pure game theory. In this cosmic prisoner's dilemma, the Nash equilibrium, the most rational move for any player, is always to
attack.
defect. Always. You can't afford to leave a variable unchecked.
To make this more concrete, the sources use this great analogy. The sniper in the stadium.
Oh, this one is vivid. Yeah, walk us through it.
Okay, so imagine a massive football stadium at night. It's pitch black, and it's filled with 50,000 people.
And every single one is armed with a sniper rifle. And they're all terrified.
Right. The silence is deafening because everyone knows that making any sound, any light, is death sentence.
They're all hiding from each other.
Now one person, somewhere in the stands, decides to light a cigarette. Just a tiny spark of light in the darkness.
What happens?
1,000 snipers fire at that spark instantly. They don't ask questions. They don't check if he's friendly.
They fire, because if they don't, that person with the lighter might see them.
Exactly. But here's the truly horrifying part. The muzzle flashes from those 1,000 snipers.
Reveal their locations.
And then the next wave of fire begins. And it just cascades until the stadium is silent again.
That is the perfect visualization of what's called first strike capability. Whoever shoots first survives, but only if they can guarantee total elimination.
And in space, that's where the weaponry comes in. We're not talking about lasers and spaceships like in the movies.
We're talking about something far simpler and more brutal. Relativistic kill vehicles, RKVs.
So this is just pure physics, right?
It's simple Newtonian physics taken to an absolute extreme. Kinetic energy is 1/2 mass times velocity squared. The key is the velocity,
So you take an object, say the size of a car,
and you accelerate it to near light speed. 99% the
and
speed
when it
of
hits,
light. It hits with the kinetic energy of the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs.
because it's moving that fast, the target gets no warning.
None. The object arrives at almost the same instant as the light from its own launch. You don't see it coming until your planet is being vaporized.
That's why the sources don't call it war. They call it a cleanse or pest control.
It's impersonal. You're not conquering an enemy. You're sterilizing a coordinate on a grid to restore safety.
Okay, that's a grim, grim picture. But let's play skeptic here. We have to apply some critical thinking. Is this scientifically sound?
That's the big question. And the strongest counter-argument comes from a very fundamental law of physics.
The thermodynamic rebuttal.
Right. The second law of thermodynamics. Entropy always increases. And that usually means heat.
A civilization does work. It runs computers, builds things, generates power. All of that creates waste heat.
And in the cold vacuum of space, where do you put that heat? You have to radiate it away, usually as infrared radiation.
And against the background of space, which is near absolute zero,
a technological civilization, especially a Type 2 civilization harnessing its entire star, would shine like an infrared lighthouse. You can't hide that heat.
So if you can't hide the heat, you can't hide. The whole dark forest metaphor breaks down if everyone is literally glowing in the dark.
It does. It suggests maybe the universe isn't a forest where everyone is hiding, but more of a gladiator arena where everyone is just heavily fortified.
There are other alternatives too, right?
A few. There's the post-scarcity argument, which challenges that second axiom.
The Malthusian trap.
Exactly. It says any civilization advanced enough for interstellar travel probably has mastery over energy and matter. They don't need our planet's water or iron.
This is the ants' analogy. We don't go out of our way to destroy anthills to steal their resources. We just ignore them. Unless they're in the way of a highway we need to build. Then we wipe them out without a second thought. Not out of malice, just indifference.
Then you've got the zoo hypothesis. We're in a protected nature preserve being observed.
Which is either comforting or deeply patronizing. I can't decide.
And then there's a really dark one. The berserker hypothesis.
This one's terrifying. The hunters aren't even alive.
No. They're automated, self-replicating, probes, von Neumann machines left over from some ancient war, and their only programming is to seek out and destroy life. They're the great filter.
You can't reason with an algorithm, but I want to pivot for a second. We've been talking about aliens and light years away, but this logic, it feels very human.
That's what I was thinking. So what of this whole deep dive is that the dark forest isn't just out there, it's already down here.
The logic of the hunter applies anywhere you have anonymity, high stakes, and the ability to strike first.
And the most direct parallel from our history is submarine warfare, especially in the Cold War.
It's a perfect mirror. The ocean is opaque, like space. You can't see, so you have to listen.
Submarines practice silent running. They turn off non-essential systems. They move slowly. They try to just disappear into the ocean's background noise.
And using active sonar, that ping is like lighting that cigarette in the stadium.
It is. It tells you where everyone else is, but it screams your own location to the enemy. It's suicidal. So the doctrine becomes stealth and first strike.
Talk first, you die. But there's an even more relatable example from our notes. The dead internet theory.
This one hit me hard. The idea that the internet itself has become a dark forest.
Walk us through it. The theory says the public web, social media feeds, comment sections, is overrun by hunters.
But in this case, the hunters are bots, trolls, advertisers, predatory algorithms.
It's a hostile environment. It's noisy and aggressive, and being authentic is dangerous. It attracts negative attention.
So what do people do?
They retreat. Yancey Strickler wrote a whole thesis on this. Humans are abandoning the open web and moving into private forests.
Discords, group chats, private newsletters.
Exactly. We're going to invite only communities to feel safe. We're practicing our own form of electromagnetic discipline in our digital lives.
We're hiding. We lurk. We don't post because posting attracts fire. The public internet is becoming a ghost town of bots shouting at other bots, a simulation of human activity.
While the real culture goes underground, we are already living the dark forest reality on our screens.
That is profoundly unsettling. And it really shows this isn't just some sci-fi concept, it's a fundamental principle of how intelligent entities react to fear and anonymity.
It all comes down to the architecture of trust. If you can't verify intent, whether it's across light years or across a forum, the safest move is silence or attack.
It's the tragedy of the commons, but the commons is existence itself.
So after all this, what is the verdict? Is the universe a dark forest?
Well, the scientific skepticism is valid. Hiding that much heat is incredibly difficult. but the sociology of fear is very, very real. Even if stealth isn't perfect, the security dilemma still exists.
The fear of that first strike.
The knowledge that your neighbor could wipe you out without warning. That creates a universe of unbearable tension.
So where does that leave us? Earth.
Earth is currently loud. Very loud. We've been blasting radio waves out for a century. We sent the Voyager probes with maps to our house.
We've even done many messaging extraterrestrial intelligence.
We are the person in the stadium, lighting a flare and screaming, "Hello, anyone there?"
And if this theory has even a tiny grain of truth to it,
it is a spectacularly dangerous thing to be doing. We are betting our entire existence on the hope that everyone else out there is friendly.
A hope that goes against the cold, hard math of the situation.
It does. And I think the thought we should leave everyone with comes directly from the source material. It sums up the horror of this whole idea. We spent 50 years shouting, "Is anyone out there at the stars?" The only thing worse than hearing nothing is hearing something reply, "Be quiet or they will hear you."
That's definitely going to keep me up tonight. Thanks for listening, guys. Keep your heads down.